Hey, what's going on guys? Butterbar here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Apex Legends video. So for today's topic, we are going to be talking about should players be rewarded for remaining in the game. Right now, Apex Legends actually has a really bad, I don't know if it's a reputation or just players do not remain in the game. Apex Legends has two unique aspects to the game. Not only do you have the possibility of being revived in this game, it's very unique because in other BRs out there, once you're done, once you are killed, you are completely out of a match. Not in Apex Legends. As long as you have one teammate that is alive on your team and they have your banner, you actually have that possibility. You have that chance of being brought back into the game and continue to play. Other BRs are not like that. As soon as you get killed, you are completely out of the game, and you either have to watch your teammates. Hopefully they win the game, hopefully they continue to play, and you have to watch them play, or you just completely leave and you try to join into another game. Another unique thing about Apex Legends is the trio aspect. You know, other battle royales out there, they have squads with our 4-man teams, they have duos that are 2-man teams, they have solos, but in Apex Legends you have 3-man teams. It's a very unique thing. It kind of goes off of the teammate, the teamwork, as well as the team aspects of the different abilities that you have as characters, and trying to work off of each other, and communication is key, especially with the ping system in here. It is amazing to be able to use that as a 3-man team. However, one of the downsides about that is if you do not have a 3-man team, you do get matched up with randoms. An example of this is OP and me were playing by ourselves. We didn't have Count as our 3rd man, but we didn't have him, so OP and I were playing by ourselves, and we actually get matched up with random players. So it'll be, you know, one match we'll play with one random person, the next match will be completely somebody different. And the one thing that kind of goes awry in those matches with that random person, sometimes they die, sometimes they don't stick with me and OP, and then we don't stick together as a team. And half the time that they would die, I would actually say probably 90% of the time that they actually died and they were away from us, they would completely leave the match. It would just be a duo squad with me and OP trying to survive through the rest of the match. Now, a big problem with this is that random players don't even give other players the opportunity or the chance to try to revive somebody and bring them back into a match. I am one of those guys that I will bend over backwards to try to go after somebody, get them back in the game, and hell, half the time I will drop one of my other weapons that I'm using and give it to them. That way they at least have a fighting chance in the game. However, right now in Apex Legends, there is no reason whatsoever. If you are a random solo player and you're playing with either two other random players that are not communicating with each other, or you're playing with, you know, two players that are, you know, looking for just that one person to join their team to be able to play in a match, there is no incentive whatsoever to have that person stay in the game and continue to watch other players play whatsoever. There's nothing to keep that person in the match. There's nothing to keep that person engaged unless they are really dependent. They really are wanting their team to win the game, which again, there's not really a whole lot of incentive whatsoever to win the game. However, with the Season 2 coming up, you know, in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be seeing a lot of things with crafting materials and whatnot. They're going to be brought into this game with victories and being able to play well and getting rewarded for doing well in the game. However, one thing that I want to be introduced in this game, the one thing that I really do think that I feel like would actually keep players engaged in the game, one thing that would keep players involved in wanting to root for their team to not only win the game, go after many kills, do whatever they possibly can to keep everybody alive and keep people playing, is I would love to see some way of actually rewarding players to remain in the game. One thing that would love to see is, what about at the end screen when you see the match summary and you see everything that's going on, what if you actually get rewarded with crafting materials? Depending on what your score is, depending on what points you get in the game, I would love to see some way to actually reward players for not only their time, for how well they play, and get crafting materials where you can actually craft weapons. I know this was actually announced in the Season 2 Battle Pass where they're going to be actually rewarding players with crafting material, but I think this would actually be the best way to do it. Assembly that's wanting to keep players remaining in the game and keep them engaged in what is going on. So what I would love to see in the match summary is, you know, depending on if you win the match and depending on how many points you get per category, whether it's one match, time survived, kills, damage, revive ally, respawn ally, killed the match, or killed the champion, killed the leader, every single category, I would love to see something to where, depending on how many points you have, depending on what actions you do in the game, you are actually getting rewarded crafting materials for each aspect aspect in it. Maybe you revive an ally, and because you revive that ally, maybe you get 50 crafting materials just for that one action. You revive 2, you get 100. If you respawn an ally, maybe you get 100 crafting material. How many kills you get? Every time you get a kill, that's 10 crafting material, just to get players to remain in the game, keep players engaged in the game, and to actually have people use the implementations, use the mechanics that are in this game, and actually be rewarded for it. Because right now, besides just regular XP and getting some of the in-game currency, the tokens that you can't really use in the game, and some of the loot ticks, at least if you're not at 100 right now, which at a level 100 you don't really get loot ticks anymore, you get another way of being able to reward players. Again, I think this would keep players engaged in the game. It would keep people playing. You would keep getting rewarded for doing actions in a game, which again, right now in Apex Legends, players do not get rewarded enough for the things that they actually contribute to the team. Again, I know Respawn, this was they want to use Apex Legends as a big team-driven experience. That's because they have the 3-man team. It's a very unique aspect of having just 3 players on a team, and also the abilities that players bring into a match, whether you're playing Lifeline or Gibraltar or Pathfinder, what other characters you're playing in this game, you're bringing a contribution to the team. However, if somebody dies and they leave, they are no longer a contributor to that team, and it completely takes away the team focus, the team aspect that I know that Respawn is wanting to do with Apex Legends. So if you are rewarding players that are remaining in a game with crafting material or some type of other reward for all the actions that they are doing in a match, I think that's going to keep players engaged in the game, going to keep them rooting for their team, and it is going to keep people to actually stay in the game and actually root for, you know, being able to get their team to revive them and get brought back into a match. Now, one thing I would actually say, because half the time, sometimes you have players that immediately leave. OP and I kept having that one random teammate that would play with us, and he would leave as soon as he died. OP and I would be a duo squad. Well, how about this? How about, and also too, reward players that are continuing to play the game, that are not leaving. Maybe if you lose one player, that gets you 2 times crafting material at the end, because you were only 2 players that were left. One guy left the game, 2 players remain in the game. 2 times the amount of crafting material towards the end of the match. What if 2 players leave and you're the only person that have remained in the game to the very end? You didn't quit out or anything. You remained in the game until you were killed by another team. However, your 2 other teammates that got killed earlier, that did not want to, you know, stay along to be revived, what if, you know, because they left and you were the solo guy around, what if you got 3 times the crafting material? You are getting rewarded for remaining in the game, whether that's a 3-man team, 2-man team, or maybe just as a solo individual person that is trying to attempt to win the game. I don't know, at least at this point right now, I would love to see players get rewarded with new things, and I think the best thing to do, and I know this was announced in the CC2 thing, I would love to see crafting material rewarded to players that remain in the game, and that way you have crafting material to stay engaged, still unlock things that are in the game, and I really do think that this would be the best route to actually do that for players that are continuing to support the game, and also wanting to be team players in this game. Again, Apex Legends, I've had a reinvigoration of this game. I've been having a lot of fun playing with OP and Count. They have been kind of the backbone of this team. I've been kind of here and there missing a lot of team activities, and we've been trying to do our best to kind of stick together, play, have a good time. And sure enough, I mean, when we all 3 are on, we have a hell of a time. We have a fun, you know, laughing and shooting the crap and everything, having a great time. However, when one of us is gone, it does kind of put a damper in it, because we are putting a lot of support behind one random person that we don't know if they are going to be remaining in the game or not. So if Respawn does something like this in the future, where you are rewarding players to remain in the game, that keep them involved, keep them in that team aspect that I know Respawn is wanting to do for Respawn, I think that'll be the best approach to do for, you know, future things, to keep people engaged in the game and continue to actually unlock things in this game that players are wanting to actively go for and strive for to unlock all the items in the game. So guys, I would love to know from you, what do you guys think about this? Would you like to see players rewarded for remaining in the game? Again, I would love to see some type of thing implemented where players are being rewarded for the amount of time they stay and play with the team that they are match made. in this game. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Have a great rest of the day. Again, thank you guys so much for the amazing support you've been giving to my channel. I really do appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys all next time.